This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You are watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Okay, so I've seen a lot of comments from boxing fans online here on my channel, and of course people in the boxing business, most notably of course the likes of Teddy Atlas, saying how Eddie Hearn's matchmaking leaves a lot to be desired, because obviously a lot of his fighters are taking losses lately. Now, I see it a little bit differently, and once upon a time I did feel that way as well, but I kind of stood back and looked at it for what it really is, which is he's putting fighters in with other fighters that are evenly matched. Now, if Eddie Hearn put in his fighters with people and they won, as in his own fighters beat the away fighter, people go, mismatch, he's not testing them, yada, yada, yada. When he puts them in there with somebody who's coming to fight and they end up winning, well, Eddie Hearn's overmatched them. Should never put him in with that person. So it's one of those situations, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, okay? If the home fighter wins, it's a cherry pick. If the home fighter loses, it's poor matchmaking. That's kind of how it is. Now, obviously people are talking about, I suppose recently, like Kate Taylor, she lost to Chantel Cameron. Lee Wood lost to Mauricio Lara. And a lot of people saying he shouldn't rematch him and things like that. You've got Mauricio Lara beating Josh Warrington and so forth and so on. So people will criticise, especially when Mexicans come over. Now, you have to remember that Eddie Hearn works for and with DAZN. DAZN is a global platform. And one of the countries that he puts on shows is where? Mexico, right? So therefore, if he's going to bring over a Mauricio Lara, he's going to bring over a Lopez, he's going to bring over this person, that person, whatever, from Mexico. If they lose, oh well, that's okay, because my guy, the Brit, won. But if they lose to the Mexican, is that poor matchmaking? Or has Eddie Hearn potentially unearthed a new gem that he can put on in Mexico, potentially as a headliner or a chief support to maybe Canelo Alvarez? Do you see where I'm going with this? So he's always thinking one step ahead. It's not just a case of the Brit lost to the Mexican. It's a case of, well, that's disappointing, but look at the plus side. We could put that Mexican on in Mexico. It's a business for Eddie Hearn. That's what it is. It's not poor matchmaking. It's clever matchmaking is what it is. If you win, oh well, great. If you lose, oh well, great. It's a win-win for Eddie Hearn as far as his business is concerned. And that's what people have to look at. It's a global business. And again, with like a lot of matchroom fighters as well, when they take on people outside of the matchroom stable, a lot of these fighters are offered deals. So if you beat the matchroom fighter, well, you're contracted to us for another 2 or 3 fights, or whatever the contract may say. And I've seen a couple of them, so I know for sure that that is actually factual. Okay? I'm not saying it happens with everyone, but it does happen. So he's always thinking one step ahead. He's always looking to cover his deck. And that's smart. That's not poor matchmaking. That's smart. If the home fighter loses, well, we've got options. That's just how it is. Like when Anthony Joshua lost to Andy Ruiz Jr. Oh, he should never put him in with him. Well, a lot of people say things after the fact. Now, to be fair, I did say before that fight happened, don't be surprised if Anthony Joshua loses to Andy Ruiz Jr. That hand speed is no joke. Okay, and I did actually tell Eddie Hearn probably about 6 months beforehand, you should sign up Andy Ruiz Jr., but he didn't listen. But the point is that sometimes you gamble, sometimes it pays off. Sometimes it don't. It's boxing, it's a sport. And from time to time, people are going to lose. And I always see undefeated records as, well, you're probably undefeated because you haven't tested yourself. Not in every scenario, but in a lot of scenarios, they probably haven't tested themselves. They're being carefully matched. And with boxing fans, we're very opinionated that we say, that's a cherry pick. You should never have been in there with him. That's ridiculous. That's a poor opponent. Yada, yada, yada. And that opponent wins. What? That's poor matchmaking, that is. Why would you put him in there with him after the fact? But as I said, it's a business for Eddie Hearn. So I totally disagree with what people say about poor matchmaking, and his matchmaker that he has now is far better than that Italian fella that he had. That is for sure. Now, unfortunately, like with a lot of these shows, is a case of a lot of the fighters who lose, you've never really heard of the away fighter before. And because we haven't heard of them, we automatically go, oh, he's got a pally record, oh, he's a bum, oh, he's no good. Then suddenly he wins. Then the home fighter activates a rematch clause. But why do we have to see a rematch for? That's just kind of how it is, isn't it? Anyway, that's my thoughts. You drop me yours. Click on the subscribe. Catch you next video.